What's up fellas, Patriarch Panda here, and today I'm going to be doing a starter guide on Blitzcrank, and I just want to say immediately that this won't be an in-depth one, it'll be a beginner slash starter one, so if you don't know where to go for the character, like at all, you have no idea, this guide will help you. Alright, so first thing to note is his strengths and weaknesses, that way you know what you're getting into when you pick up the character, because you know, you just can't pick up the character and go like, okay, what does he do? When it comes to his weaknesses, he doesn't really play neutral. He's not really a character that plays neutral, he kind of makes a ton of guesses in neutral. Where he's like, oh, let me throw this out, let me throw that out. Oh, is this a good play? Is it worth going for a jump here? You know, can I get a jump in here? Can I go for a dash up? Can I go for a hook? Can I go for an assist into a hook? Like, that's kind of all your plays. You're not really playing neutral with this character. You're just guessing constantly. You're not really a character that's like, oh, let me hit a jab or hit recovery, you know, let me whip punish. You're not doing that with this character. You can maybe do that with 5H, like from here. So like if you see maybe like a Darius or something like that, go for his axe swing because he thinks he's at the right range, whiffs it. You can do running heavy, but that's about it. Next weakness is your specials are very slow. Like I said before, like you're just throwing stuff out. So if you look at that, that's a pretty slow special. I believe it's active frames until it gets to that point is about 35, which is extremely slow. You're not going to see that get there at that point. You see that? That's hitting on like it says 20, but this is like frame 35, so don't listen to that. That's lying to you. Look at that. Super long. Something you gotta worry about with Blitzcrank. You're very slow and neutral, and when you go to make a play, it can be one of your last plays. But if you get right, as you can see, he does a lot of damage. And his last main problem is that he's very assist reliant. He really needs assists to get anything done, in my opinion. Like, he kind of has to be all like, alright, I'm gonna do this assist while doing that. Alright, and that makes it so he can cover both lanes, which is strong. But it's not like he's like gaining anything from this if he's outspaced, as you can see here. Maybe some assists don't work with him. And there lies the problem, is that a lot of his good plays come from assists. Crazy things that you can assist combo into a throw. Crazy things which you can get a combo after a throw with an assist, so not having that assist because you used it in neutral is a big deal. But yeah, let's go into the strengths, and basically you've got a solid 50-50, right? You've obviously got the strike that leads to a lot of damage. I mean, check this out. Basic B&B, half the opponent's health, and then going for the throw. And as you can see, off of a simple throw, you also get 50%, so he's a scary 50-50 character that can delete basically 2 halves of your health for 2 different interactions, so he's scary in that sense. As you just saw, his damage is high, and when it comes to his assists, he has some of the best assists in the game. Calling Blitzcrank out to get plus 44 on hit is really good. You can kind of do like a charged heavy, for example. And as you can see, you get a ton of this because unblocked, this would be guaranteed, right? So there'd be no reason to never do charged heavy, as charged heavies are dash cancelable on hit and unblocked. So call them in, charged heavy, and on block you'll get a turn, and on hit you'll get massive combo. Now, one massive thing about this version of Blitzcrank is that obviously he's a grappler, right? One of the things that tends to hold back a grappler is having really good execution in the moment. But because this is a one-button fighter, you've gotten rid of one of the biggest aspects of it makes grapplers difficult, which is, this is simple. This is very simple. You're not messing up a grappler this character because it's just a button. Kind of like the whole Ladiva thing, except Ladiva has ass neutral, whereas this character does not. So that's a strength. Now you know your weaknesses and strengths, let's talk about your mindset. And you kind of want to play with the mindset of like, everything I do is going to set up for throw, right? Everything I'm doing, I'm going to try to get this out for throw. So in neutral, your mindset is like, okay, I'm going to kind of throw stuff out there, and the chances of like trying to get an interaction or something to go in my favor, right? Because as soon as you land one of these, it's your game plan, right? Genuinely, on block, on hit, your game plan's begun. So that's the mindset to have. Mindset to have, obviously, try to go for your grappler. Game plan, set it up whatever way. The other big part of your game plan is making sure to focus on Steam. Steam is massive, you need Steam. Why? This tool now crushes projectiles and gives you a massive bombo. And when I mean massive bombo, I do mean a massive bombo. Check it. 634 damage. So the damage goes up quite significantly after getting your Steam. So Steam's pretty big, it gives you more damage and it gives you more neutral skip opportunities, right? So that's huge. But another thing that I would probably suggest is that your mindset of Blitzcrank, it's not really a mindset, but what you should probably do, I recommend it, is put Blitzcrank as your assist, because as we saw, God tier assist. You can't deny it, it's one of the best in the game. You can go up, go mid, doesn't matter. The main thing is that you can play a character that maybe has better neutral, like Darius, you end up getting a knockdown, use an assist for OK, and then you swap it about and actually go Blitzcrank. What I recommend doing, as soon as you get a knockdown, as soon as you run offense, as soon as you win in neutral, this character is really good. He's one of the best for sure for offense, so as soon as you get that opportunity, play him. I recommend it. Play him. Now that you know what you want to do in mindset, what's your neutral, right? Well, basically, when it comes to neutral, you kind of want to set up hook hand as much as possible, right? And I recommend, like I said earlier, assist and cover both lanes, kind of like this, right? A lot of assists will go forward less, either as a projectile or a hit. So send that out, and you send that out, and you cover both lanes. And if the opponent blocks your assist, that's an opportunity to get in. If it gets hit, then you can kind of just go in instead, right? You can use high run, knockdown pressure, and just go from there. This is strong. Comparable to, like, you know, like fighters, you do a beam assist and jump in. That's what it's comparable to. Obviously, the beam assist can get hit here, but it's comparable to that. In neutral, the other thing that you want to do is get your opponent to kind of come close to you. So what you can do is set up an assist and set up Steam, right? And what you can do is, like, they might want to beat up on your assist while you're doing this, and that's going to let you get full Steam, and then you can hit them for hitting your assist. Let's say Ari here starts doing a full combo on my assist while I'm doing this. Well, I'll just probably hit her out the sky, and just like that, she's going to take a ton of damage, which is huge. Massive. You have to be careful. Is if they don't hit your assist, and let's say they run through your assist trying to get to you, tag and hit them from behind. That's what I recommend doing. So your assist always being out, there's no problem with it whatsoever. Either tag, get your Steam, up to you. Another thing that I'd recommend is try to get opportunities to do dash jumps. This character does not have an air dash, no matter what you do, right? But what he does have is a really good dash forward jump, right? Look at the distance that he covers with this dash jump. You see that? It's so good he could get a cross up from round start, right? Which is strong. So that's what I recommend doing. And it'll be pretty good if you start doing slightly charged 2Hs, because they do a ton of damage. You see that? See how much damage I'm getting from my jumping? It's crazy. So up next is offense, and obviously your main goal is to set up grab, right? You want to maybe do this off of like a button or something like that. Maybe you want to do it off of a yoink like this, right? You want to go straight into throw. Maybe you want to go throw into throw. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. So you can do that. You can do that. You can go throw into throw into throw into throw. You can go button into throw. You can do charged heavy into dash up throw. You can do yoink into throw. Point being, you're trying to set up throw. That's your entire goal with this character, is just throw, 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 throw. It's the only thing in your head, okay? Remember what I said? Every time you get a throw, tag, because you will get a good cash out, right? Look at that. Landed a throw, would you believe it? 50% of the health gone, right? So do keep in mind to tag, and do keep in mind to do throw whenever you think is a good shout. Talk about your offense. Obviously you're setting up throw. One of the main problems is that you don't really have any plus on block normals. All your normals are like minus, right? That means it's the opponent's turn. If you go to do something brand new against them in a situation that's minus, you're gonna get hit first, okay? So what you want to do is to kind of like throw in a ton of like delayed gaps. That way if the opponent goes to mash, you'll hit them before they hit you, because you're not playing into minus, you're playing into your gatlings, your cancels, if you will. So doing light, medium, delay, heavy, you could hit someone trying to hit you. So that's good to know. You do have a low poke, that's pretty good, obviously. Hitting low can be pretty solid, and then there's also the fact that it is only -1 on block, meaning this is a pretty good throw gap. So if you want to go bump, bump, do that. I recommend it. Delay throw, get the tap, get the hit. And that's a 50-50, or you can go straight into a block string, like that. Or you can go straight into a block string, kind of like this. That's what I recommend doing with this character. So up next, your throw comes out in 6 frames, so that's a pretty big deal. If you're able to do a poke into throw, it's pretty good. Comes out pretty quick. So you can kind of use it on some defensive scenarios, but where I recommend using it is in a lot of offensive scenarios like dash cancels or yoinks, right? You land a yoink, go for throw. But another thing that you could do this technique called a cara cancel, right? Which is basically cancelling one special into another. So this character here has the Lariat special, which is kinda mid, does some good chip damage, but this isn't a good tool in my opinion. But what you can do is press throw, the command grab immediately after it, and he'll cancel the Lariat animation. You see it, right? He goes to do it, and then he goes into throw instead. So it's a pretty good feint option to throw occasionally, and it gives you more range. So basically something like this will land compared to something like that. Right, you see that? Not only did it take ages to get there, it still missed. So basically, feinting your Lariat is a really good shout. Look how much you get off of that. The distance is pretty good, and it's hard to react to. You're not really going to do much about that. The other thing that's worth mentioning is when you do this tool 2M, this is a really good tool, right? Why? Because on block, it vacuums the opponent, right? So you're going to get a consistent block string because of a tool like this. Look at this. Right? That was a pretty consistent block string, wasn't it? Right? No matter how much I got pushed out, I'm still in the space. Whereas if I did something like this, you see that? You see that? I'm outside the space. So on hit, I'd miss out on a combo, and on block, I'd miss out on a combo compared to I'm still there. Super consistent. Make sure you use 2M. The vacuum is really necessary. But also, you can obviously do delay throw. That's the other thing. But one thing that makes Yoink so good on offense is that this is like your only plus on block tool that's your reset tool, right? So if the opponent ends up blocking this, they don't jump this. This is your turn on offense, and because it's +4 on block, when you yoink them, you can go for throw, right? They can't challenge it. If they go to challenge it, they get thrown. But the other thing is that if you do light and they press a button, it hits them. See that? She got hit. Right? She can't challenge here. She's not allowed to challenge here. And if she goes for jump, that's when you've got a problem that you need to check immediately, right? This mix-up does not cover jump. The only way to beat jump is to call it out, right? So I'm going to show you. I'm going to yoink, go for throw. They jumped it, you see that? Go for throw. Light, they're able to block it, and it takes them down to the ground. So what do I do here, right? That's the question. Anti-air yoink. Anti-air yoink comes into play because anti-air yoink, watch, look at the frames, +17. That's enough time to go to sleep and come back and just do whatever mix I wanted to do, right? Like, look at this. Look how much I gained off of that +18. I was able to just do that into offense, right? Super good. The other thing you can do, it's a bit more riskier, but I think it's totally worth going for if you can read your opponent, is doing this, right? So I do a block string, bring them down to earth, jab, command grab, right? And I was able to do that because I read the first momentum. So that's what I recommend doing. Delay yourself and go for anti-air throws at times. If you think that's what your opponent's going to do, read them. And if you're not confident, guess what? Call in the assist. Can't go wrong. Call in the assist. Darius will do the bits. Brum will do the bits, okay? Obviously, main thing to note, this is how you get steam, right? You land 2 throws, you're in steam mode, meaning everything's enhanced, and we'll get into that. That'll be its own segment. Neat thing, if you land a normal throw, like this, or command grab in the corner, like that, you can actually go into level 1. So if you're in a situation where you want to kill, or you immediately want Steam, do level 1 super, cash out, and then you've got Steam, and then look at that. Ooh, so much damage, right? One more grapple killer, right? Close enough. And so one thing that's worth noting is that this character gains access to something when he's by himself. When he's the last man, this is where you think the character's at its weakest, and then he has something to completely mix up, and this is a part of offense, and that is Fury. Fury mixed with Blitzcrank is terrifying. It's actually a terrifying mechanic because he gets speed. Look at that. He's faster. So yeah, he gains access to something else, and let me tell you something. It is not something you want to deal with, right? When he's in Fury, he gains access to special cancels, and his damage goes up significantly. Basic B&B that we did earlier did 50%, now it does 70%. And if you really want to cash out, it gets disgusting. Check it. %. That isn't even optimal. People found TODs when he's in Fury mode, so not only are you getting faster, one of the best things about him is getting buffed, which is the damage, right? Basic B&B is going to deal a ton of damage, and then the most optimal stuff is going to kill. So I recommend keeping him to last, not only for his great assist, but when he's in the situation where he has Fury, guess what? We're going to use it, and we're going to be disgusting about it. Again, simple B&Bs, they're going to deal a ton of damage. And the other thing that's pretty gross, and I don't think you guys are ready for this one. That's right, he gets a combo off of his command grab. And he'll deal 60%. This is one hell of a scary character. Do not get grabbed by Fury Blitzcrank. It will genuinely not end well for you. But yeah, now that we're done talking about offense, let's talk about the main mechanic that I think is worth talking about, which is the big thing. Is Steam. Now this is the thing that makes this character unique. It makes him a lot like Iron Taker. Not only do you have a lot of ways to vacuum the opponent, you also have a ton of like set play, being your Spark Bolt, but in this case, your Steam. Steam is going to give you so much with this character, right? And I plan on talking about how to get Steam, but let's talk about what it gives you, right? So when you're in Steam, right, your command grabs gain armor. Meaning, if the opponent goes to hit you, if you have Steam, right, you have armor now. On your command grab specifically, right? So you're able to just go like, nice poke carry, GG's, not only do I have good reach on my throw, but I got armor, right? It's my turn. Right, Grappler's turn to exist. Actually goes for your anti-air command grab. This also gains armor. So yeah, that's big. Also, every form of the command grab now does 300 damage compared to 50, meaning it'll still kill in 4 throws, but if one of them's a combo, now it's 2 throws. So that's something you've got to keep an eye on. You really need Steam throws. They're super necessary. Whenever you do a yoink, it crushes projectiles and is +5 now. Meaning, theoretically, a light should give you a combo when they go to jump. So this is huge. And also in training, you can do an infinite. If you just set the Steam to infinite, it's fun. It's fun. So yeah, +5 on block, meaning if you do anything, you're going to get hit. Right? So that's pretty good. The other thing that's pretty big is you now get a combo off of it. So let's say you crush a projectile in the scenario. Guess what? This is the type of stuff you're getting. It's a lot of damage. It's a lot of damage. Also, a neat thing, but I don't think this comes up as often as I would like it to. Super 2 now does more damage if you hold the Steam in, right? So you'll see there that 255, which is less than your other super. But if you do this, that's 350, which is a lot of damage. A lot of damage. So if you really need a kill, like desperately need a kill, and you've got Steam, do this super. Every time. Every time, do that. You also get Oki, right? Run your 50-50. We talked about Steam, let's start by getting it. Alright, so ways you can get it is obviously land a command grab, because then you can build up Steam very quickly, right? So you can do something like this. And then obviously go from there. Assists are amazing. The other way to do it is, of course, like we said earlier, setting up an assist and then just pulling away, right? Spinning that fang, cranking that hard. So that's good, right? The other way of doing it, which is big, this is going to be used in all your combos. If you do your level 1 super, this will always put the character in Steam and deal a ton of damage. So that's good to know. That means after doing the super and running offense, you're going to have Steam froze. So that's pretty strong, not going to lie. The other thing that you could do is, I've been experimenting with this, you can actually do a wrecking ball combo like this. You'll get Oki, you'll get the corner, and you'll have Steam. And if the opponent goes to roll, they have no throw protection. Get them thrown. That is mostly how I'd go about getting Steam, is doing that. I would probably do that combo every time. Or try and end on this level 1 as often as I possibly can, right? So if I'm in a situation where I've got meter and I want to spend the meter, that means, okay, I'll do the optimal, into super, like this. Or if I'm in a situation where I don't want to spend the meter, then that means I'll do this combo instead. But you have to realize your situation, right? It's all about realizing where you are and what you want. But yeah, talk about your defense. Your defense is not that good, if I'm honest, right? This tool is not that good despite being a low. It's 9 frames, so you're not using this in defense. That's the slow mash, as they say. This is 11 frames. Covers decent space, but you're not using this as a mash. Also 11 frames, you're not using this as a mash. And your light is 8 frames, meaning you have to use this as a mash. Best way to put it, on Potemkin, an 8 frame was bad, and that's an anime fighter. This is a tag fighter. Tag fighters are usually crazy, so keep that in mind. One thing you could maybe do as a mash out is if your opponent's jumping, you can go for this anti-air, which is pretty good, because it lets you go for a yoink combo like this. Or you can go like this, which will do a lot of damage. So if you see your opponent jump, kind of go for a back heavy, and then get the pickup afterwards. In terms of defense, you kind of want to use the universal mechanics. I recommend getting acquainted with them, right? So for example, you've got retreating guard, which is where if you do a backdash while blocking, you'll kind of outspace your opponent. You see that? Look where I am. They can't get the 5H anymore. You see this? I'm gone, right? The other thing is getting used to is retreating block, which is basically using your teammate and using their assist to do the pushback instead. As you can see, it puts the opponent like so far away, like boom, they're gone, right? So do assist while blocking. The other thing I'd recommend is using his level 3, because this is a Kami super. You're not going to use it on wake up, but where you can use it defensively is if you see something like Ari here go for a projectile, you see movement, that's a grab. And you'll get so much damage off of this, right? You'll get so much. Look at 50%, and then keep in mind, let's say you got Fury in this scenario, right? Which increases your damage. You read the projectile, you make the clean call, guess what? This could deal like 70%. It did 684, 70% pretty much. So that does a lot of damage. Next thing I recommend learning is your combos. This will be the last part of the video. So again, if you guys have been enjoying, be sure to like and subscribe. These are your combos. This is a pretty big one. If you have a light confirm, I recommend doing this. It's pretty easy to do, you can't mess it up, and you'll get Steam, and your light will deal 40%, right? The other one is your 5M combos. I suggest getting a little bit optimal. This one is a little harder. Because it can be tricky getting that slightly charged crouching, that slightly charged down heavy in midair, right? It can be very tricky. But as you can see, you get a good bit of damage, and also pay attention to notations on the left, those will help you out And I also have notations down in the center there. Now, the last combo, pretty big one, and this will get you steam meterlessly, so I recommend doing it. It's the one I showed you earlier, which is this. As you can see, you get OK, you get steam, you get everything. And just like that, I've told you all the important stuff that you need to know. There's more combos, but I'm going to leave that to you explore with the assists and all that. In terms of teams, I think I recommend you putting them with Brum, maybe Jinx, and maybe someone like Echo. I think they'll be pretty good pairings for him. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed. That's Patriarch Panda with the starter guide for Blitzcrank. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And I'll catch you guys in the next 2x KO video, or Strive video, or Grappler video. Who knows? See ya!